And it's not all about going to another country for women, but let's face it, guys, it's part of it. You know, it's not all about going to another country for a female, but let's face it, it is part of it. If you're unmarried, if you've not got a wife already, right, and you're divorced, actually, you're divorced, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? Surely, remember that film Planet of the Apes? Charlton Heston's character, what did he say? Right? He said it to one of the apes. He said, surely there's got to be somewhere better than this. And there is. And Ghana, in my opinion, is one of those places. All of those lovely apartments that we were looking at will put you, as long as you can sustain yourself financially, whether that's, you know, whether your plan is to start some sort of business, might be property, might be about building a bar, taking over a bar, running a nightclub, it might be, but if you're one of these people that's a digital nomad, you could work from anywhere on planet Earth. So this is about you looking at a life elsewhere. That whole thing about becoming a global black guy, a global black man. You know, the fact that your community can be global, right? Global. The whole thing about going somewhere and finding a wife, or being able to pick from women who are more traditional, more likely to stay married, more likely to see you in a respectful manner, to treat you with respect. Yeah? Let's face it, that's not happening in our part of the world. That's not happening in our part of the world. So the reason why we're looking at property, whether or not that's to buy, well, mainly to buy, whether that's, you know, whether or not that's apartment and houses, is to put us in a place and space where we can have a more fulfilling life, where we can pour into a woman who's less likely to run off with the kids and try and take us in a divorce court for the shirts off our backs. Right? That's what this is all about. That's what this whole live stream is all about. And in this case, as I said to you before, I've already looked at the women of Kenya, the lovely women of Kenya. This time round, I want you to know that all of the women you're seeing here are all 100% Ghanaian. 100% Ghanaian. And as far as I'm concerned, every single one is a winner. You know that song by Hot Chocolate? Everyone's a winner, baby. Everyone's a winner, man. Every one of these women is a winner. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one for fake hair, you know, weaves, wigs, and lace front. I don't know, yeah, some of these women have got wigs, weaves, and lace fronts, right? But you know, the bottom line is what I'm really focused on is the software. I'm going to keep coming back to it, right? The mentality in our part of the world. Let's be honest, right? If the women that are going to watch this stream are honest, living in the West, but living in England, living in Europe, living in America, just be honest, right? It's not an issue. I mean, you know, I'm way past it, man. I really am. But let's just be honest. You have no respect whatsoever for black men. None. Let's just be honest about it, right? So what I'm simply saying is, guys, we can just bounce somewhere else. If you can, if you've got the means to do it, right? Consider life somewhere else. That's all I'm really saying. No hard feelings, man. You know what I mean? You know, in the UK, we used to have a brilliant, gorgeous, beautiful black community that I grew up in, that I personally loved. But that was years ago. You've got black communities all over the African continent. You've got black communities. You've got to learn the language. Guys, you're going to have to learn a language. You could do that over time. Take online tree lessons, if I'm pronouncing that word correctly, which I'm probably not. But you could take online lessons, which I recommend you do. Me and the wife were taking online tree lessons in the UK, but I think we've got to revisit them. We paid for them. We got them, you know, got them on the computer, so we can come back and we do plan to go back and actually revisit those lessons. We have to. That's if we're planning on moving to this to Ghana or whatever country we're planning on moving to. So you can do that. What we will look at is business, whether that's the whole thing about being a self-employed digital nomad or looking to start up some sort of business while you're after you relocate to that country, whether or not you can transport the business that you're currently doing in whatever country you're in to whatever country you're looking to head to. We'll look at that too, right? And I want to say this as well. Listen, this isn't about finding a perfect woman. All this is about is finding, if you like, someone who's simply he's going to show you a little bit of respect and not want to basically divorce you in 7 years' time. You know, that's really all it is. That's really all it is. No more than that. No more than that, really. Just somebody who simply looks at you and puts a little bit of value on you, right? That's really all this stream's about. And honestly, I think every man, regardless of color, I think every man deserves at least that. If you put something in, if you're prepared to protect, provide, cultivate, lead, and cherish a woman, you know, the least you should expect is a little bit of respect back. But that's absent in the West. It's as simple as that. Generally speaking, there's always going to be that needle in the haystack. There's always going to be that needle in the haystack. But, you know, we just have to be honest about the likelihood of you finding it. Right? You know, you just got to be as honest as possible with yourself, you know, Mr. Black Man. You know, the likelihood of you finding that needle in the haystack in the West. You know, don't see it as a sign of failure if you have to relocate to another country. People do it every day. People do it every single day. And what you stand to gain is a lot more, in my personal opinion, than what you stand to lose. So, you know, that's it. So, you know, to round off, is the juice worth the squeeze? You can see the question at the bottom of the screen, you know. Yes, the juice is definitely worth the squeeze. You can see it. The juice is worth the squeeze, man. Anyway.